Okay, so very special Miracles, Magic, and Coffee. And I think we are on. Let me just make sure. It all looks good. Excellent. I'm going to share this in an email so that you can get the link in just a second. So here goes. Boom, that should do it right there. And let's make sure all the other little places I put the link are on. Good, and one more. So glad to have this technology to be able to do this stuff without a lot of tech people involved. If you want to know what I use, let me know, and I'll send you that information. Okay, so we are good to go. Okay, so we have a special session today, and you know, we've been interviewing, Jen and I interviewing, I'm going to put my hat on. We've been interviewing physicians, naturopathic physicians, Tom G. Mateo and Hannah Heed Jackson, and we've had other ones too, and all with the idea of how to get over chronic illness, chronic conditions, anxiety, autoimmune conditions, other conditions. And I'm gonna plug in my, I'll leave that out. And it's a different way of looking at the body than the regular medical route. And so when we think of healing, we think of it in a way of we're not healing somebody, we're kind of like the door that allows the person to walk through it, and then they can have their own experience of healing. And it's basically finding what's in the way of them naturally healing, because it's like we think of the body as a very intelligent body. And when we see somebody in chronic pain or chronic conditions or all sorts of medical diagnoses and stuff, we feel the person's body is doing the absolute best it can do. And so what we see is the person trying to protect itself from a physical thing. It could be a toxin, it could be some sort of infection, it could be some other type of problem, it could be a mental or emotional or even a spiritual pain. It could be a belief that was set up to protect them. And this belief has set it up so that certain things have to happen. And so what we found is a way to find what that block is to someone's healing and then help them clear that. And then their own body and being can start to do what it does naturally, which is heal. And so it's not like we heal anybody, but we can help people get healthier. We call it working on the host and not the disease. So we're not trying to fix or get rid of Lyme disease or some sort of infection or some sort of condition. What we do is help people get healthier so that they can get on their own surfboard and take their own wave for their own healing. And today we're going to go even farther. We're going to go deep. So you're already in a session because you're with me, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But and Jen is down there with the boys and setting up the space. She's my secret weapon. So whenever I'm on, she knows what I'm up to, and she's doing something on an energetic level. So we'll talk about that in a moment. And so, so what you can do if you like, because it's like once you know something, it's hard to unknow it. You know, it's hard to unknow it. It's like sometimes you just can't go back. Once you know something, it's totally different. Like if you never believed there was such a thing as a black swan, you can believe that completely, absolutely. And then when you see one black swan, then you can never go back to thinking, oh, there's no such thing as a black swan. Now, before you saw the black swan, you have a really strong belief that there is absolutely no way, it's impossible to have a black swan. They just don't exist. But once you find it, once you've seen it for the first time, you can't unknow it, right? It's like, well, that was never true. And so So we're going to play with something called the holographic universe. And what you can do to see if you can notice your version of your black swan is to test something that's real to you. Test how your neck moves. Even right now, I encourage you just to do this and test how your arms move and test how your spine twists and stand up and bend backwards and bend forwards and bend side and bend side and walk around and notice what you notice. So then a little bit, you can notice what's different. And it's so easy to not notice, especially if you don't believe it's possible. Like if you see a black swan and you absolutely don't believe it's possible, you might just pass right over it and not even see it. And if you haven't seen that video of the intention experiment with the basketball players passing the ball, and you're counting how many times the white team passes the ball, it's very easy to miss something that walks right through the screen because you're not looking for it. You don't even think it's possible. You think you're on a different assignment. And so when something changes for you in an instant, you might miss it. You might miss it. But if you can test enough stuff before and after, my experience is that something always changes. If you believe in prayer, it's like, it kind of be like praying to God and then getting the answer, but then not believing it was the prayer or that it was God. It was like, oh, it couldn't have been that. That was just a coincidence. So it's so easy to use our mind to take away our power. So I encourage you to test something and then to be open to the idea that maybe, just maybe, something just happened for you. So we're going to go a very special, what's called a matrix energetics 2-point. And you can notice what's different in this moment because we have an opportunity. It's me. Jen's downstairs. She was out very late last night in Olympia, Washington, about 3 hours plus or so south of us at the state capitol. And she got back late yesterday. So she's down there. And our really good friend Tom Giamateo is dealing with a family emergency. So our thoughts and prayers to him. I studied with the late Sharon Giamateo, Tom's wife, and studied 110 classes over 10 years in her method, the one she developed. And I remember one time our friend who studied with great Qigong masters in Los Angeles had her Qigong master hanging out with Sharon and Tom and everybody. And the Qigong master told my friend that he had energetically asked Sharon, could he work on her? And she energetically said yes. And so then he took a look inside. This was just them hanging out. And he saw all the stuff that she did. I mean, we have tens of thousands of techniques to fix this artery up or this vein or this mental problem or this spiritual problem or this heart or this infection, all sorts of techniques for everything you could possibly imagine. And he energetically asked her, he said, why do you work so hard? So one of the things I love about homeopathy, and we had Dr. Anna Heed Jackson on last time, was when you get the right information, the right remedy, in an instant, she's seeing trigeminal neuralgia go away and chronic painful menstrual cramps and other things like that. But there's something even more interestingly cool. She even, is that information it's kind of like this. I had a friend, he was so funny. Years ago, with the remote control for the TV, he had the TV on and he had his remote control. We were all sitting around in his apartment watching some show. And he says, I'm going to take my laser and I'm going to bounce it off your tooth filling. And then it's going to bounce off that and hit the TV monitor. And it's going to change the channel. Here, watch. 3, 2, 1. And magically, the TV channel changed. Now we all laughed because it's like we thought, you could have pointed it right at the TV and it would have done the same thing. You could have probably pointed at the back wall and it would have done the same thing. But he had this little thing that he said, we're going to point it right at your tooth filling and just bounce it right off. Yeah. And so when we think of the right information that can transform some sort of thing, maybe it's a version of, I'm going to bounce it off your filling, Maybe it's not even about us finding that information or having to access it or touch it or do something. Maybe it's not about taking a big breath. Maybe it's not about if somebody falls down or not, or has a big traumatic release. Maybe it's not if somebody moves their fingers around. Holographic happenings. So what you can do is notice notice what's happening, or notice what's happening in your body, or notice what you notice. And then go ahead and test your neck and test your shoulders and test your spine. And let me know what you notice. Let me know what you notice. Email me, message me if there's a comment section here. I don't know if it's turned on or not, but I will make sure it's turned on later. On the YouTube, put a comment down there. And if you like, share this. And when you share it, leave a comment in the YouTube. Leave a comment and let the world know what you just noticed. And if part of your brain goes, oh, it couldn't have been from that, or oh, that's weird, or that's the placebo effect, or da 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 da. You can just put that on hold if you like, and just report from the scene. What's different with your arms? What's different with your neck? What's different with your back? When you walk around, what's different? Are you taller? Does the world look differently? Are you thinking differently? How does the rest of the day go? And what's cool about that is when you say something, when you report from the scene, when you share it, when you give your comments about what you noticed, it's kind of like confirming that, yes, there was a change. Now, when that happens, your body takes over in a really magical way and runs with it, literally runs with it, and goes through a huge epiphany healing process, because it can't go back to thinking that things are so set in stone. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So next week we'll have hopefully Dr. Tom Giammatteo on for more ideas around how to get over Lyme disease, and then we'll keep going with stuff around autoimmune conditions and clearing that. Yeah. For right now, I would love to hear what you guys notice, and I would love to see you share it, because you can have a bigger change when you do this. You share it and it becomes realized. So the word realized is really cool. It kind of goes with holographic happenings. It's like a holographic brain noticing a holographic universe, and a miracle happens. So go ahead and share it, the video. Let me know what you notice, comment, and realize it. When you realize, you make real. Maybe nothing is absolutely as real as it seems, but it's already there. And noticing that information, you realize it, you realize it, you make it real. Cool, huh? All right, everybody. Have a really good day. I really want to hear from you. I'd love to see you share these things in big ways. If part of you is like, I don't know, I don't want people to know I'm into this weird stuff, or I don't know, I don't want people to know that I had this condition and now it's not here. Imagine all the people that could help if you shared and told your story. All right. Let's get out there and live. Let's really live.